Welcome to the deep dive.
Mm.
Today, we're really getting into something fundamental, how we actually start our day.
Right, those first few moments.
Exactly. And our guide here is an article by Wynant. He's co-founder of the Ingomu coaching app, writing for Best Holistic Life magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So your mission, really, for this deep dive is to understand how being intentional right from the get-go when you wake up can make a huge difference to your well-being overall.
It's something almost everyone can relate to, isn't it? That morning struggle.
Oh, definitely.
Think about it feeling like you're already behind schedule before you're even properly awake.
Yeah.
Wynant himself says, he wasn't always a morning person. That desire to just stay buried under the covers, that kind of negative drag.
So familiar.
It really is. A lot of people feel that.
And what he found, and what we're going to unpack here, is the real power behind morning rituals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important, I think, to distinguish this from just a routine.
That's a key point, yeah.
We all have routines, right? Brushing teeth, maybe grabbing coffee, the automatic stuff.
Sure, autopilot.
But a ritual, the way Wynant talks about it, is, well, it's deliberate. It's a conscious practice.
Okay.
You're choosing activities specifically to kind of center yourself, get energized, really align mind, body, and spirit from the very start.
That idea of conscious choice, that's really the core of it, I think. Moving away from just reacting.
Reacting to emails, the news, whatever pops up.
Exactly, to proactively, looking after your inner state first. And the potential payoff seems pretty significant.
How so?
Well, Wynant mentions this Thrive Global survey. Get this. 85% of people with consistent morning routines said they felt improvements in their mental health and focus.
85%. Wow.
Yeah. That's a pretty strong signal about what we're talking about here.
Okay, so let's dig into that. What makes these rituals work? What's the magic ingredient, so to speak?
Well, it really comes down to that intention, like you said. It's not just doing things, it's how you do them. Starting the day with mindfulness, with awareness that seems to be critical, it's like creating a little buffer zone.
A buffer. How do you mean?
A space to connect with yourself, before the world rushes in with all its demand.
Okay. Before the notifications start pinging.
Precisely. Mindful presence is basically just paying attention right here, right now, without judging yourself, noticing thoughts, feelings.
Without getting swept away by them.
Exactly. And that's what these rituals help cultivate. It's about centering, energizing, nourishing yourself, not just, ticking boxes.
And Wynant points to meditation as a really foundational practice for building that mindful presence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people hear meditation and think, sitting silently for an hour. What does it actually look like in this context?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that daunting. Connecting it back to that goal of mindful presence, even short bursts of meditation can be surprisingly effective.
Okay.
It's really about bringing your focus to the present moment, calming down that mental chatter that often starts the second we wake up.
The to-do list brain.
Right. And just finding a bit of inner calm. Wynant suggests even just 5 or 10 minutes can make a real difference. Clearing out some clutter, setting a peaceful tone.
So for you listening, maybe thinking, okay, sounds good, but how do I actually do it? What are the practical first steps for meditating in the morning?
Good question. It's about making it easy to start. Wynant suggests finding a quiet spot, somewhere you won't be interrupted, ideally.
Mm-hmm.
Sit comfortably. You don't need a special cushion or anything. Close your eyes or just soften your gaze.
Okay.
And then the main thing is just gently focusing on your breath, feeling the inhale, the exhale.
And what about thoughts? Because they always pop up.
Oh, they absolutely will. That's totally normal. The practice isn't to stop thoughts. It's just to notice them, acknowledge them without judgment, like thinking, and then gently guide your attention back to the breath.
Gently guide it back. Okay.
Yeah, think of it like training a puppy. Gentle redirection.
Now, Wynant also mentioned something interesting. His ritual starts the night before.
Yes. I thought that was quite insightful. It highlights the preparation aspect.
How does that work?
Well, the evening before, he actually takes a moment for gratitude and sets an intention for good sleep.
Okay, kind of setting the stage.
Exactly. And then in the morning, before even getting out of bed, he does some mindful breathing and affirmations.
Right there in bed.
Yeah. It's a way to center his mind immediately, cultivate that positive outlook before anything else interferes. He also uses those gradually brightening lights you mentioned earlier, like a sunrise alarm clock as a cue. Seems like a much more natural way to ease into the day.
Less jarring, for sure. Okay, so we've got the mental side covered with mindfulness and meditation. But Wynant also talks a lot about movement. Why is that physical part so important?
Well, movement is just fundamental for waking up the body, isn't it?
Yeah, gets the blood flowing.
Totally. Shakes off the grogginess, boosts circulation, and it naturally lifts your mood, too. It's like giving your whole system a gentle jump start.
Does it have to be intense, like a full workout?
Not at all. That's the great thing. Wynant emphasizes it doesn't need to be strenuous. Some gentle yoga, stretching, even just a brisk walk counts.
Okay.
Even a really short burst of activity helps. The key is finding movement you actually enjoy, something that feels good for your body.
And what does Wynant himself do for movement?
He does a mindful walk about a mile before he starts his workday.
A whole mile, wow.
But he stresses it's not about speed or exertion. It's about being present, enjoying the air, noticing his surroundings, trees, sounds.
So it's mindful movement.
Exactly.
Right.
Which he finds energizing and, interestingly, inspiring for his work. It connects that internal focus from meditation with the external world.
That makes sense.
And he keeps it going walks after lunch and dinner, too. So for you listening, maybe a mile feels like too much first thing.
Right.
But maybe a 10-minute stretch, focusing on how your body feels, or a quick walk around the block, paying attention to your senses, that could work just as well.
Okay, so mindfulness movement. What's the third pillar Wynant mentions? Gratitude.
Yes, gratitude. Simple, but really powerful.
How does focusing on thankfulness first thing actually help?
It fundamentally shifts your perspective, doesn't it? When you consciously think about what you appreciate, you automatically steer your mind away from lack or what's wrong towards what's already good. Abundance.
So it combats that morning negativity we talked about.
Precisely. It boosts positivity, helps you start the day feeling more open, more optimistic. There's even research suggesting it can positively affect brain chemistry, building resilience.
And it doesn't sound like it needs to be some grand gesture.
Not at all. Wynant says it can be super simple. Just take a moment, write down maybe, or even just think of 3 things you're grateful for.
Just 3 things.
Yeah. Could be big things, could be tiny things. Your coffee, a sunny day, a friend. It's about cultivating that awareness of the good.
Right.
For him, he integrates it into his journaling. He finds that helps deepen the awareness and makes him notice positives more throughout the day.
Okay, this is all really helpful. So for you, the learner, listening right now and feeling maybe a bit inspired to try this, what are the practical, actionable steps? How do you design your own ritual based on this?
Right, because it has to work for you. Wynant gives some great down-to-earth tips. First off, start small. Really small.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Exactly. Don't feel like you need this hour-long perfect ritual tomorrow morning. Just pick one thing. Maybe 5 minutes of that mindful breathing we talked about.
Oh, the gratitude thing.
Or the gratitude thing, yeah. Just 1 or 2 small practices to begin with. Once that feels comfortable, maybe add something else.
That definitely feels less overwhelming. What else?
Consistency is crucial. Doing it daily, even if it's super brief, is way more effective than, say, 1 long session once a week.
Builds the habit.
Builds the habit, exactly. It becomes natural over time. Also, be flexible. Adapt it.
Yeah, so.
Listen to yourself each day. Some mornings you might have more energy. Maybe you do a longer walk. Other days, maybe just quiet meditation feels right. Tune into your needs.
Okay, be adaptable. Makes sense.
And maybe the most important one in today's world, eliminate distractions.
The phone.
The phone, the email, the news feed. Really try to do your ritual before you plug into all that.
Protect that time.
Yes. This is your time for centering yourself, setting your intention before the day pulls you everywhere. That really helps solidify the habit, too, making that small, consistent step easier.
That point about distractions really hits home. It makes it feel, I don't know, sacred almost, intentional time just for you.
It really is. And just to underline the potential impact again, Wynant brings up another interesting statistic.
Oh, yeah.
A study from Duke University found that people who meditate in the morning are, get this, 76% more likely to stay in a positive emotional state throughout the day.
76%, that's huge.
It is. It just shows how these seemingly small morning practices can ripple outwards through your whole day.
Okay, so let's sort of wrap this up. We've seen how building a morning ritual, consciously bringing in things like meditation for mindfulness.
Movement for energy.
And gratitude to shift perspective.
Yeah.
It really does seem to set a whole different tone, a positive, intentional framework for the day ahead.
Absolutely. And for you listening, these practices work together to help you feel more aligned. Mind, body, spirit, all pulling in the same direction, hopefully.
Right.
And that alignment often leads to more clarity, more energy, a greater sense of appreciation. It benefits your mood, your overall well-being. It's about taking charge of those first moments to influence everything else.
It really does give you food for thought. Just consider this. What if you consciously reclaimed just those first few moments, before the emails, before the demands start? How could that small act ripple outwards, affecting not just what you get done, but how you experience your day? What's one tiny intentional thing you might try tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
It could honestly be the most important decision you make.